to staff a stall. His was sponsored by his environmental engineering consultant firm and was about the endangered Florida Atala butterfly. His educational, non-candy giveaway goodies, a butterfly eraser and a pencil set, plus butterfly temporary tattoos, were sitting on the dining room table neatly packaged in recycled paper bags, a project that had taken the two of us most of the night. Ponte las pilas, I said, looking at the time. Even though Robert didn't speak Spanish, he'd picked up a good bit of it being married to me, and knew the phrase meant to get energized. We need to get going, or we'll be late. I'm sure there's setup to do before the gates open at 10.
Mommy, ¿puedo llevar a Camo con nosotros?
Manny asked. He was cradling the young kitten on its back, and the multicolored fluff ball had a paw on his cheek. I snapped a picture with my phone. Super sweet. The two were in love with each other. That was another surprise the whirlwind of the last 3 months had blown into our lives. We hadn't planned on having a pet, but Stormy Weatherman, the mother of the lady whose murder I'd solved, had shown up at our doorstep with the kitten last week. Manny had named the cat Camo. An odd name, despite the cat's camouflage-like patterning. My son's favorite relative, Officer Gordon Smith, is to blame. The day Stormy came by, we were having a housewarming party to inaugurate our new patio, and Gordon happened to be wearing camo cargos. Gordon was also the reason for Manny's costume choice. No, mi amor, I answered. No, he could not take his pet to the fair. I encouraged him to put the kitten in his room and motioned for Robert to get the boxes of treat bags. Okay, got the first load. Robert walked toward the door. Don't you have something on the stove? He asked, glancing back to the kitchen. Huh? That big pot of water. Did you start cooking something this morning? I didn't know what he was talking about, so I went to check. The cassava I'd peeled and left to soak in the large cast aluminum pot was on the eye. Oh, no, that's not on. It's just soaking. I dumped the milky water into the sink and refilled it. I loved the root vegetable, but it took planning to prepare. It required a day, 2 was better, to leach the toxins from the tubers to make it safe to eat. Okay, let's go. Everybody ready? What about my nuts? The other bolt on the side of his neck was hanging loose. Fix it in the car, I replied, and handed him the tube of spirit gum. Parking was already full at the Coral Shores Unitarian Universalist congregation. Manny's school, housed on the church grounds, had gone full haunted house vibe. Overnight, the place had been decorated with bats, pumpkins, and a 12-foot-tall blow-up black cat with an arched back. There was a photo-op pumpkin patch in the courtyard. It had hay bales with faux autumn leaves scattered on them. Because Florida. Can you imagine palm fronds turning all shades of red, orange, and yellow, then falling to the ground? No gracias. Miami already had frozen iguanas falling from trees whenever there was a cold snap. The courtyard also had several painted plywood panels with ovals to stick a face in. There was a scarecrow family, a farmer with a pig wearing a witch's hat, and a dancing skeleton that looked like it had been copied from a vintage Grateful Dead t-shirt. The parents had gotten an email with images and details about what to expect. The festival didn't have an admission fee, but tickets had to be purchased for some activities. The tickets collected at each station would be converted to dollar donations to local charities. The pumpkin patch proceeds went to Urban Oasis Project, according to the email. I'd forgotten which other organizations would be benefiting. Go around back. The shout came from a woman with the stars and solar system on her dress.
Mrs. Lucy,
Manny yelled from his booster seat. He waved and grinned with glee. What a perfect costume for the school's director. Love it, I said as I turned the corner to drive to the back of the property. Agape Montessori was run independently from the church, but they had a symbiotic relationship. Miss Frizzle is Mrs. Lucy? She looks so different, Robert remarked. Wigs and costumes have that effect. I wonder if her husband will be in drag. He is guapísima in drag, I said. What? Robert gave me a quizzical look. He wasn't narrow-minded, just more middle-of-the-road than me despite my conservative Catholic upbringing. Their their Yule card, was Sam Evans. You know Mrs. Lucy is married to CSUUC's choir director, right?